Blog Talk Radio.
Intelligent infinity, malevolent epitome. They consider me as the most deadly weapon from Italy.
What's going on, y'all? This is BC Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host, Lee, a.k.a. the Hoops Guru. As always, I got my man with me, Mr. MKA. It's a great day for a brother like me because Hoops is back, baby. Yeah, the NBA did kick off yesterday, but let's be honest, man. Tonight's a real late the league starts. A lot of teams are playing tonight. A lot of good matchups I want to see, so it's all good. MKA, what's going on with you, big boy?
Hey, man, everything's everything. What's the deal, bro?
I'm good, man. Before we get into this NBA thing, let me say shout out to LeBron James and his wife, versus the baby girl. You know, they got the two sons and the boys, sort of how I grew up. You know, it's a good combination. And nothing but the best for him, you know. So I know he's a happy man back home. Baby's born, back in the town where he loves. Should be a good setup for him. And on another note, World Series Game 7, I might actually take a peek at the World Series, man. You know, my Yankees weren't good, so I didn't watch really a lick of baseball this year, to tell the truth. But, you know, Game 7 in any sport, man, is always a good thing. So I'm going to check that out, and I'm kind of rooting for Kansas City. That team hasn't got a chip in like 29 years, so it'd be good to see them celebrating pop bottles tonight for that city. So I'll definitely be checking that out. Any shout-outs or news, anything you want to get into before we get this NBA thing rolling?
Oh, yeah, you know, I want to give a shout-out to my man, doggone the unibrow, Andre Davis, looking like a doggone the front runner for league MVP right now. You know that boy he was hating on? You know.
Yeah, man. Hey, great game. You played Orlando. Let's keep it in perspective, but very good game.
Hey, that's the stats, bro.
Yeah, all right. There's a thing called empty stats, too. Let's not act like that's not true. But the NBA is starting tonight. A lot of good games that I'm interested in seeing kicking off. But we'll get into that later. But as we embark on this season, you know, if you watch the Four-Letter Network and some of these other places, they're only really talking about Cleveland, Chicago, and that's really, even in the West, they're not really talking about specific teams. They're talking about the travesty out there, which is called the Los Angeles Lakers, a little bit for that entertainment value. But I don't want to spend a long. Yeah.
I mean, dog, look, I know you all hyped up with everything because it's basketball season. Dog, can we go over the picks, man? Like, can we go over at least who won out? What was the deciding game? Can we do that? Oh, you want to do it tomorrow? Oh, okay. All right,
yeah, we're talking hoops, man. All
right, go ahead.
Today, man.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So, but my thing is let's start out in the East. I want to your top 4 teams you think will make the playoffs, and we'll talk about the bottom 4 bottom contenders to make the playoffs.
So you want everybody who's gonna have a home court advantage?
Yeah, home court advantage. And remember, you know, you got three teams that win the division, and I guess another team with the best record could also get home court advantage as well.
All right, well, I don't have all the divisions in front of me, but I'm going to say that Cleveland, Bulls, wow. See, all them other teams in the East are like, as I get past those 2 teams, to me, everybody else though is kind of suspect to me. I mean, I can't really. I mean, I know people like you gonna say like the Wiz probably one of those teams, but I'm probably gonna say them by default because I just don't. I mean, I don't think Toronto's gonna be the top 4 seed. Brooklyn.
Well, it's gonna have to be Toronto or Brooklyn in that division because we know it's not gonna be the Knicks. We know it's not gonna be Boston. Spot is kept with Lionel Hollins. I think Brooklyn's going to be a lot better. Speaking of or talking about, even though they did lose Paul Pierce, I think they can, they can.
Oh yeah, that was such a great loss.
Well, it was. I mean, he was actually with the bad season Kevin Garnett had last year. He went to power forward, was kind of the guy, him and Sean Livingston, that kept that team afloat to get him to come back and win that division after the slow start and win a round in the playoffs. So, do give him credit where it's due. He was a big part of his success last year after the lofty expectations.
Well, you tell me your four, because I only got two right now, so maybe you ring some bells for me, because I only got two. So.
Well, we haven't seen it yet, but Cleveland. I think the Chicago thing is pumped up way high. I think they'll be good, but I don't think they're going to be like this infamous world beater they're thinking of. They'll be a good team. They'll have to deal with Thibodeau just pushes players too hard, so they're always going to have to deal with injuries and scoring, even if Derrick Rose and those guys are there. Cleveland, of course, is going to be in the mix because whenever you have LeBron James, it's just a totally different dynamic to deal with. My thing is we got to see how they evolve, how
chemistry.
Kevin Love, how he deals with the spotlight and actually having some notoriety and having to play physical every night. Because let's be honest, in Minnesota, he didn't get everybody's best game. That's kind of a takeoff night in the league. So, he may have had big numbers, but you had a lot of teams that weren't focused as well.
He got the better games for the opposing power forwards.
It's going to be a different animal when Cass is coming at you, man. I still think Minnesota was a night off for a lot of dudes. So his numbers, he probably got his numbers, but I think teams were more focused on the W. There's no nights off now with sweep. So he's going to, it's kind of a playoff energy every night, and I think that's what LeBron slowly wants to get these guys acclimated to understand. And that's why I think you hear him saying stuff like, it's going to take us time. Chicago's better than us right now. I'm not guaranteeing anything. But he knows it's going to be a working process in that regard. But Cleveland, when it's all said and done, should be very, very high up there. Now, Washington on paper should be better. Being a fan of this team, I know I should never get too high because, once you think they're there, they can't find a way of messing it up. I do think Paul Pierce will give them that edge to play winning, to expect to win as opposed to hoping to win. And I think in that division they'll give them the edge, even though Charlotte is kind of their kryptonite. Toronto, I think Toronto can win 50 games. It's going to be a toss between them and Brooklyn. Yeah, I do. I think Toronto can win 50 games, man. You got to think last year, I think they were around 45. I think that team is 5 games better. But then again, especially without a powerhouse, Miami.
You can say last year was just a fluke, though. They got to prove last year wasn't a fluke, and they could be potentially one of the perennial teams that are a contender in the East. That's the thing.
But I don't think they're a fluke. Just watching them, I don't think they're. I think they're trending that way. I don't think it was like a mystery season like the Knicks had that one year 2 years ago.
Also, Lowry and DeRozan both get hurt, so that's another team that has to deal with injury. Just like you were saying about the Wiz, Wall and Bill and then that's what they do, get hurt.
Well, they at least got General Grievous behind them, and Grievous has talent, so he can hold the ship if Lowry gets hurt. DeRozan, I think, especially after playing with Team USA, is probably going to be inching towards being more of a star in the league than before. So I could see him